As we've mentioned, sales at U.S. retailers surpassed analyst estimates in June as discounts and lower gas prices enticed consumers to spend. Companies like Target and limited brands led the gains. For a look into the numbers and what this means for the health of the consumer, let's bring in Marshal Cohen. He's followed retail trends for more than 30 years and is now with NPD Group as a chief industry analyst. Marshal, welcome to Bottom Line. Pleasure to see you again.
Pleasure to be here.
Did these numbers surprise you?
Not really. You know, when you think about what's going on, the consumer has started to show us that they're in what I call the post-recession syndrome. Fancy way of basically saying that they're tired of living in this non-spending cocoon, and they've already filled a lot of their needs, and now they're starting to reach out and fill some of those aspirational purchases.
Are they really, in a sense, saying, okay, I've been good, I haven't spent, I've just been trying to pay down all my debt, unlike the federal government, I'm trying to pay down my debt, and I think I deserve something?
That's exactly what they're saying. You know, and one of the things that's interesting is they also tell me that they're feeling a little bit more confident about not losing their job. And that's the key factor. You know, we don't have that equity spend that we had before the recession that fueled so much of that false wealth that we knew about. And now that, you know, we've gone into this new stage in the market, what's happening is as we reset the economy, what's really going on is the consumer is now sitting there telling us, you know what, if I feel like my job and my income is secure, I'm going to open up the throttle again. They've saved a lot of money. They're going to start to spend a little bit.
Marshal, can I ask you, because in the intro I didn't mention you've been doing this for 30 years, tell us how important a role psychology plays in this. If the consumer feels comfortable, the consumer is going to say, okay, I have waited maybe 6 months to a year. I see it's the summertime. There's some sales going on. I think I'd like to go out and buy myself some stuff or my family some things.
All right, let me quantify that for you. 26% of all purchases that are made during the course of a year are impulsive purchases, meaning they weren't planned for, they weren't things that were based out of necessity. They are purchased because they either have a desire to buy something or they want to reward themselves.
I'm surprised the number's that low. I would have thought it would have been over 50%.
Well, think about necessities really drive the majority of business. So, you know, the food spending and your gas and all your essentials. That's really where the biggest dollars are. But when it comes to, you know, when we went into the recession, all the business that was really lost during the recession was the impulse purchase.
Some of the stores that my colleague Heather Prabhakar mentioned before you came on, Target coming in 4.5% increase, Costco 14% increase, BJ Wholesale 7.3% topping expectations. Do those numbers surprise you?
If you think about, I'm going to answer no, which I don't want to always just say no. But what I want to tell you is that if you think about the list you just read, there's one thing in common. Value. The consumer today is looking for the opportunity to be able to buy name recognizable brands and get better value. They're not looking for the lowest cost anymore. They're looking for the best value, which sometimes means they're willing to buy their favorite brand and spend a little bit more money. All of those stores have done a good job of putting brand into the forefront.
And Heath also correctly pointed out that teen retailers, specifically, they're a good barometer of discretionary spending. As we're now in the month of July and heading towards that all-important back-to-school shopping season, what might we see?
Look for the consumer that's going to buy key items first. So office supply stores will get a good early jump. But that might mean that some of the apparel retailers may not get that July bump. They're probably going to get a later boost. I actually think that holiday sales are going to do fairly well, almost about a 3% increase for the back-to-school holiday period, which is nice. But it's going to come as we look at a wider spectrum of time period. It's not going to just be July and August we have to look at. We also have to look at the consumer who's going to roll over into September to spend their back-to-school dollars.
And the consumer, I would imagine, is going to be the beneficiary of any pricing wars that we see between some of these retailers.
Another great point, and that is, as the consumer shops later, retailers get nervous, put things on sale, and become the beneficiary.
Marshal, what about the luxury retailers? How are they doing? Are there people, there are folks out there, a certain segment of the population who has the money, and they're always going to go to a Tiffany or go to a Bergdorf Goodman. So is that money still there?
The key to recognize is that 2.5 years ago was when luxury really took it on the chin and they lost that aspirational, the mid-market consumer who was shopping there, reaching well above their income means to shop in those luxury stores. They vacated. But now they've anniversaried those down numbers. So luxury is going to look like they're going to have a much better year. So look for some of the key department store, luxury department stores to start to show numbers. Saks and Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, to show some good growth.
Marshal, in our last 30 seconds, I guess this all ties ties into the employment picture as well. ADP reporting 157,000 jobs were added. That's just got to add impetus to those people who are saying, you know what, okay, now I'm getting a regular paycheck. Now I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable going out there spending my hard-earned dollars.
There are two keys that are really going to help drive the continual growth that the consumer's showing right now. One, if we had a jobs program, that would certainly catapult retail sales. But the stability of the jobs market is the other key component. And that's where the consumer is feeling very confident right now that if they have a job, they're going to continue to, be in a good position to keep that job, and look for them to spend on products that will actually help them enhance their job performance. So look for the electronics market to have a good third and fourth quarter this year.
Marshal Cohen, NPD Group Chief Industry Analyst, joining us on set. Pleasure to see you again. Don't stay away so long next time.
I'll be back.
Waiting for an invitation. Marshal, thanks so much.